At 7 a.m. on April 13, 2023, South Korea's radar detected a Chinese commercial ship in the Yellow Sea on its routine way to Fujian. But then a few hours later, the same ship was detected in the East China Sea, 700 kilometers from here. The ship's cargo was not commercial containers, but several hundred Chinese military helicopters, missiles, and tanks. Now, two questions come to mind. Firstly, how did a ship travel such a long distance in just a few hours? And secondly, why was the military equipment on a commercial ship instead of a Chinese Navy warship? The answer to these questions is that this seemingly normal ship is actually China's most dangerous and secret weapon against Taiwan. It is a masterpiece of ship technology and strategic planning. These ships are called roll-on, roll-off, or in short form, ro-ro ships. These ships were first built in World War II when the German army encircled France and 400,000 Allied soldiers were rescued by these same ships. These ships are called roll-on, roll-off because they have many ramps, through which many military trucks and tanks can be loaded and unloaded anywhere very quickly. There are ro-ro ships in the navies of many countries, but the ro-ro ships of any country do not have the same speed and capacity as the Chinese ro-ro ships. It is called Bohai Honda. About 300 tanks or trucks can be loaded in this one Chinese ship, and they can be offloaded at any shore or port in just a few hours. So this ship can play a very important role in the event of an attack on Taiwan. First, because it looks exactly like a commercial ship, Taiwan's military will be in a state of confusion lest it accidentally shoot down a Chinese civilian ship. And secondly, these ships can land thousands of Chinese military tanks and even helicopters on any shore of Taiwan in just a few hours. So on the one hand, China's Navy would have engaged Taiwan on the western border. And on the other hand, with the help of these rover ships, China will be able to enter Taiwan easily and take control of it. But is it that easy for China to attack and occupy Taiwan? If so easy, why hasn't China done it yet? What is stopping China? The answer is the USS Puller, an American ship that you can call a floating base. This is the ship because of which the US controls the entire Pacific Ocean. The USS Puller was built so that the US could control the Pacific Ocean through it. The biggest threat to the United States, if any, is from the Pacific Ocean, as its three major enemies, China, North Korea, and Russia, are across the Pacific Ocean. America knew from the beginning that if it wants to become a world power, it has to control the Pacific Ocean. Then it will be safe from any external attacks. Now the Pacific Ocean is very big, and America needs many bases in the sea to control it, where they can deploy their military tanks, missile systems, and other military equipment. The required equipment in war is called logistics in military language. Logistics define the how and the where in any war. The larger and more remote the military operation, the more logistics will be required. During the Cold War, when the US-Soviet tension was at its peak, the US built interconnected bases in Europe from Italy to Germany to avoid any Soviet attack, so that if there is an attack by the Soviet Union, the American military can push the Soviets back through logistics together with the European army. After the Cold War, the Pacific Ocean has replaced Europe on the western side, while the United States has built military bases in Japan, South Korea, and the Philippines to counter China, North Korea, and Russian influence. There are also US military bases in Guam and Hawaii, but there is a great distance between all these bases because the Pacific Ocean is huge, and because of this distance, it is very difficult for the United States to deliver logistical support to Taiwan or South Korea. To counter this issue, these ships were built, which are also called ESB, stands for Expeditionary Sea Bases or Floating Bases. An idea of how powerful and large ESBs are is that if an aircraft carrier is called a naval air base, an ESB can be called port within a sea. Not only military helicopters, but also missiles and even small drones can be flown from here. It also has a garage the size of a football stadium under its main deck, where there are hundreds of state-of-the-art ships can be put to sea whenever needed. Secondly, the storage capacity of these ESBs is so large that one ESB can carry 11 million gallons of cargo, meaning that the United States can use this ship to deliver logistics to its various bases in the Pacific Ocean. Not only this, but these ships also serve as America's central command and control in the Pacific Ocean. Due to the powerful aviation system installed, all American military communication and strategy reach the rest of the bases through these SBs. Currently, the US has 5 SBs, and according to some online sources, 4 SBs are always present in this part of the Pacific Ocean to keep a close eye on their bases and their enemies in Eastern Asia. And that's why it's not so easy for China to make a straightaway attack on Taiwan and occupy it. But not only these SBs, but also some other very interesting geopolitical and geographical factors, due to which it is not so easy for China to take control of Taiwan. What is stopping the world's largest army from taking control of a small island? Obviously, only these 4 SBs cannot stop the world's largest and most advanced army. Of course, there are other factors that have made the China-Taiwan conflict so complex. These advanced military logistics will determine who will control the world next. But this race to achieve these logistics should not cause the end of our world.